What secrets are melting glaciers bringing to light? Tavu's glacier research would take on a completely different dimension with the unexpected discovery of a time capsule. This 200-year-old mystery would drag him along with Kovu and Lavu into the pursuit of dangerous historical conspiracies. Some secrets should have stayed frozen, but climate change was revealing even the deepest mysteries. This discovery would put three friends face to face with powerful enemies and prove that the truth is sometimes deadly. In the glaciers north of Kimmerat village, 29-year-old glacial scientist Tavu was researching the effects of climate change. For the past 5 years, he had been observing the rapid melting of glaciers, but what he found today would change his entire research. "What could this be?" he murmured when he noticed a strange metallic glint in the ice. As he carefully dug around the ice, the corner of a weathered metal box appeared. The capsule had been stuck 3 meters deep in the ice. "This looks very old," he said to himself. On the metal box there was a barely readable date, 1823, nearly 200 years old. Tavu realized how important this discovery was. According to glacial chronology, this box had been buried in the ice exactly 200 years ago. But who had done this, and why? He needed expert help to carefully extract the box. He immediately called museum expert Kovu in the village. "Kovu, I found a very old box in the glacier, dated 1823. I need an expert opinion." 46-year-old Kovu was experienced in historical artifacts. 1823. That's very old. We need to be careful. I'll bring preservation expert Lavu, too. 38-year-old Lavu was an expert in preserving ancient artifacts. The three of them planned together for the safe extraction of the box. "What's the preservation condition of this box?" asked Lavu, examining the box. "Perfectly preserved in the ice," said Tavu, "but we need to be very careful when opening it." Kovu examined the writing on the box. "This isn't Inuit alphabet. It looks like European writing." "Who could have been European here in 1823? asked Tavu. "Exploration expeditions," said Kovu. "There were many British and Norwegian exploration ships coming during that period." After completely cleaning the ice around the box, they decided to take it to the laboratory. But before opening it, they needed much more information. That night, as Tavu stored the box in a safe place, he felt that this wasn't an ordinary historical artifact. The next day, the three began working on the box in the village's small laboratory. Lavu had examined the box's contents with an X-ray machine. "There are documents inside, papers, small metal objects, and other things I can't quite identify," he said. Kovu was researching the symbols on the box. "These symbols, these aren't official exploration symbols. They could be signs of a special group or organization." "What kind of special group?" asked Tavu. "In the 1800s, besides official exploration expeditions, there were also secret missions, treasure hunting, illegal trade, even espionage." The box's lock mechanism was very old, but still functional. Lavu tried to open the lock with special tools. "Be careful," said Kovu. "The documents inside could be very sensitive." When the lock opened, an old smell came out. Inside there were carefully wrapped documents, a small map, gold coins, and surprisingly, a perfectly preserved diary. "This is incredible," said Tavu. "So well preserved after 200 years. Lavu began carefully opening the documents. The first document was written in English. "What does it say?" asked Tavu. Kovu began translating. "Captain Edward Morrison, HMS Intrepid, secret mission, Eldorado map, must be hidden from locals." "Eldorado?" asked Tavu in surprise. "An old legend, the Golden City, but this document mentions it as a real place." When they opened the diary, they found even more shocking information. Captain Morrison wrote that Eldorado was real and that he had found its coordinates. But most importantly, said Kovu, he noted information he obtained from local tribes in this region, and what? And he marked the exact location of our modern village. The entrance to Eldorado wasn't very far from here. This information changed everything, but there were even more dangerous notes in the diary. As they continued reading the diary, Captain Morrison's story became even more complex. "Look at this," said Kovu, turning the pages. Morrison wasn't just a captain looking for treasure. He was on a secret intelligence mission for the British Crown. "What kind of secret mission?" asked Lavu. "To monitor French and Russian activities in North America. But during that time, he discovered Eldorado." Tavu was examining the map. "These coordinates, they look very familiar. Where do they point?" "To the mountainous region 15 kilometers south of our village. That's now the mining company's concession area." This revelation took the situation to a completely different dimension. Kovu found other critical information in the diary. Morrison found the treasure but had problems with his crew. There was a mutiny. What kind of mutiny? Crew members didn't want to share the treasure. Morrison hid the treasure with a few loyal men and put the coordinates in this time capsule. So what happened to Morrison? The answer was in the last pages of the diary. "I will die here. The crew abandoned me, but the treasure is safe. Future generations will find it." Lavu was also examining other documents. "There are legal documents here, land claims, ownership papers." "For which lands?" "For the entire surrounding area of our village. Morrison claimed these lands on behalf of the British Crown. These legal papers could create major implications if they were valid." Tavu began to realize the modern implications. If these documents are authentic, current mining rights could be invalid. "This would create a very big problem," said Kovu. "The mining company has invested millions." At that moment, an unexpected visitor appeared at the laboratory door. The person at the door was Robert Stevens, the local manager of the mining company. He was a man in his 50s with a stern look. "Hello, I'm Stevens. I heard you found ancient artifacts here," he said, entering. Tavu, Kovu, and Lavu felt uncomfortable. Who had spread the news? "We're just doing routine Glacier research," said Tavu cautiously. Stevens saw the documents on the table. "These documents look very interesting. Can you show them to me?" "This is scientific research," said Kovu. "It requires proper authentication." Stevens spoke in a threatening tone. "I run mining operations in this area. I have the right to know everything that concerns me." "Mining concession doesn't cover archaeological finds," said Lavu firmly. Stevens approached closer. "Could those documents affect our legal rights?" "We haven't done authentication yet," said Tavu. "I want to be involved in the authentication process," said Stevens. "That's not a legal requirement," said Kovu. Stevens was looking with an angry expression. "You don't understand the implications of these documents. There are very powerful interests here." "What kind of interests?" asked Tavu. "Mining rights, land ownership, international law. If these documents get into the wrong hands, they could create serious problems." Stevens continued in a threatening manner. "I'm giving you friendly advice. Keep these documents quiet. Don't hurry the authentication process." "We will follow scientific protocol," said Lavu defiantly. Stevens got angry. "Protocol won't protect you. There are powerful companies and government interests. These documents could disappear." After this direct threat, Stevens left the laboratory. "This man is clearly dangerous," said Tavu. "We need to move the documents to a safe place," said Lavu. But that night, their laboratory was broken in two. When they came to the laboratory the next morning, everything was in disarray. The safe was opened. Documents were scattered, but strangely, nothing had been stolen. They just searched, said Kovu, assessing the damage. What were they looking for? Asked Tavu. Lavu checked the documents. Specific pieces of the time capsule contents are missing, especially legal documents and detailed maps. What pieces remain? Morrison's personal diary and coordinates, but the legal papers are gone. Tavu analyzed the situation. Whoever did this knew exactly what they were looking for. Could it be Stevens? Asked Lavu. Or someone else on his behalf, said Kovu. They decided to secure the remaining documents, but first they wanted to check Morrison's coordinates. If the treasure really exists where there are no legal documents, we could claim it, said Tavu. But it could be dangerous, said Kovu. Stevens is clearly desperate. We need to take the risk, said Lavu. This historical discovery is very important. According to the coordinates, the location was in the southern mountains, 15 kilometers from the village, exactly in the mining company's active area. Mining operations are intensive here, said Tavu. The treasure could have already been disturbed. Or the mining company already found it, said Kovu suspiciously. This possibility could explain everything. Stevens's desperate behavior, the theft of legal documents. If they already found it, why are they still worried about legal papers? Asked Lavu. Maybe they found it but can't legally extract it, said Tavu. Then we need to find a legal basis, said Kovu determinedly. They began preparing for the expedition, but they didn't know they were being monitored. The three prepared for the expedition to Morrison's coordinates. They took mountain gear, research equipment, and, most importantly, the remaining documents. We're entering mining company territory, said Tavu. We need to be careful. As they approached the mining area, they heard sounds of heavy machinery. Active excavation was taking place. Morrison's coordinates point exactly to this area, said Kovu, checking the GPS. But look, said Lavu with binoculars. There are recent digging marks, different from the mining equipment's normal patterns. They might be looking for treasure too, said Tavu. Carefully, they approached closer to the mining camp. They were observing from a hidden position. Stevens was having a conversation with several other men. He looked frustrated. We've been digging for weeks. They could hear Stevens's voice. Without legal documents, we can't officially claim it. What about the locals who found the time capsule? Another voice asked. I tried to intimidate them, but they're stubborn. Maybe a more aggressive approach? Not yet. We'll try the legal route first. This conversation confirmed that Stevens was really looking for the treasure. Tavu, Kovu, and Lavu decided to make an alternative plan. They would follow other clues from Morrison's diary in a distant area from the mining camp. Morrison mentioned a backup location, said Kovu, checking the diary. A secondary hiding place. Where? According to the diary, near the Eagle's Nest rock formation. I know this landmark, said Tavu, 2 kilometers east of the mining area. They headed to the new location, but didn't realize they were being followed. When they reached the Eagle's Nest rock formation, Morrison's description matched perfectly. Ancient rock structure with natural cave formations. According to the diary, Eagle flies east, treasure sleeps below, said Kovu, reading Morrison's cryptic clue. They found the cave entrance and began to explore. Inside, there were no modern artifacts, but clearly a man-made hiding place. This place is empty, said Lavu, disappointed. But Tavu examined the cave walls more carefully. Wait, this could be an artificial wall. Behind the fake wall, they found a small chamber. Inside was a wooden chest. Morrison's real treasure, said Kovu excitedly. They carefully opened the chest. Inside were gold coins, precious stones, and, most importantly, a complete set of legal documents. These are original land claims, said Lavu, examining the documents. Very detailed. But at that moment they heard footsteps at the cave entrance. Stevens and his men were coming. "What do we do now?" whispered Tavu. "We need to hide the documents," said Kovu. Stevens entered the cave. "What are you doing here?" "Historical research," said Tavu calmly. "This area is off limits. You're trespassing." "Public land," said Lavu. "Mining concession doesn't include cave systems." Stevens saw the chest. "What's this?" "Empty old container," said Kovu quickly, having already hidden the documents. Stevens was suspicious but couldn't prove anything. "Leave this area immediately." After leaving the cave, Stevens and his team departed. "Are the documents safe?" asked Tavu. Kovu showed the hidden documents. "Morrison's complete legal claim. This could invalidate the entire mining operation." "What do we do now?" "We'll submit to legal authorities," said Lavu, "through proper channels." Weeks later, legal reviews started. Morrison's documents were verified as authentic. The mining company's concession faced significant restrictions. Stevens and the company tried to make a legal challenge, but Morrison's 200-year-old claim had a stronger legal basis. The village community gained a significantly better position in land rights. A mining revenue sharing agreement was negotiated. Tavu continued his Glacier research, but now also worked as a community advocate. "This adventure taught us that," said Tavu, "sometimes the past's secrets can protect the present. And with teamwork and persistence, we can fight against powerful interests," said Kovu. Morrison's time capsule was displayed in the village museum as a symbol of his legacy and the community's legal victory. This story teaches us, history isn't just about the past. Ancient documents and forgotten claims can correct modern injustices. With courage, teamwork, and legal knowledge, even small communities can defend their rights against powerful corporations. Dear viewers, have there been historical discoveries in your area that had modern legal implications? Share your thoughts in the comments along with the lessons you draw from this exciting discovery story. If you liked this thrilling historical mystery story, don't forget to hit the like button. By subscribing to our channel, you can discover more adventure, mystery, and discovery stories from the depths of Inuit culture. In our next video, we will introduce you to another fascinating story. Until then, don't forget to pay attention to the historical traces around you.